O evento está muito legal, eles fizeram a introdução agora, tem muitos builders aí, tem bastante founders pra gente se conectar, fazer um network bem bacana, trazer muita gente pra Solana aí, eu acho que vai ser irado.
O papel da Solana hoje aqui, principalmente no evento de Buenos Aires, é poder mostrar para o empresário a facilidade que ele consegue colocar o seu próprio modelo de negócio dentro do mercado de blockchains, utilizando a tecnologia da Solana.
O que mais me empolga na rede da Solana é a possibilidade da gente executar transações em paralelo, algo que só é possível num blockchain como o da Solana. Isso faz com que a gente consiga ter um throughput, ou seja, um processamento de transações muito maior do que as outras redes, como por exemplo a Ethereum.
A quantidade de oportunidades que é possível criar modelos de negócios dentro da Solana é algo espetacular. Você consegue trazer qualquer tipo, do pequeno ao grande, para dentro de um ecossistema que opera super rápido e super acessível para todos. Só é possível em Solana.
We're here at day 3 of Aleph, the pop-up city, as part of Crecimiento movement in Argentina. And our guest today for this conversation is Martin Maza, who is a regional general manager for WorldCoin in Latin America and also the COO of Pago 36.
Yeah.
You know that Argentina has one of the highest adoption, if not the highest in Latin America, of crypto. Does that also reflect on WorldCoin?
Yeah, definitely. Latin America in general as a whole, I think we're quite excited. I think it's a region that is poised to move, as you see in my presentation, from plastic, meaning credit cards, directly to some sort of blockchain-based systems.
What advice do you have for people who are participating in Aleph during this whole month and beyond?
You know, participate, get involved, go to the different conversations, to the different keynotes. It's a moment to think big and use this platform that Crecimiento gives us to build new technology.
Okay guys, I hope you're all having a very nice morning and a very good day. So my name is Ronnie, we have Sanjay and Luigi here with me. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about action and blinks. But before that, I just want to do a quick recap of our Solana numbers. So as you can see here in our screen, we have a very nice chart showing that Solana is one of the fastest blockchains in the world. As you can see, we have a transaction confirmation in less than half a second, in just 400 milliseconds. For you guys who were in our infrastructure talk, you know why this happens, because of the SHA-256 function. But today we're not going to deep dive in this infrastructure part. What we are interested in here is to compare the solutions from Solana, mostly to the Web 2 solutions that we have, right? So right now in Brazil, we have a solution that you can exchange money, can send money, in less than 10 seconds, then you can confirmate this, but we are able to do this 20 times faster, right? And this is one of the most fast finalities that you can achieve actually in any system in the world, right? Not only that, but we are also the most affordable blockchain right now. So if you want to transfer $1 million in the Web 2 way, you need to pay more than $30,000, right? And with Solana, you can do this paying less than 1 cent for this transaction, which is also very nice, right? Again, we are also the most used blockchain right now in terms of transaction share. We have 72% of all the transactions in the blockchain, and we grew more than 20% in the last 6 months. We're also, again, the most used blockchain in terms of active addresses and users, with a growth of more than 500% in the same 6-month period that we were talking about. And right now we have about 30% of the whole users in the blockchain world. So again, we are the fastest, most affordable, and most used blockchain, but this is not good enough. We also want to have very good partners. So we also have partnership with Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe, and more than thousands of applications in our ecosystem, right? But enough with that, let's talk about actions and blinks, which is our topic for today. And our objective with this is to make you guys understand the power of this feature and also to onboard billions of new users to the blockchain universe via the Solana blockchain. But before we do that, we need to remember some important concepts in order to understand what is an action and what is a blink. Okay, so first you're going to remember a little bit of what is an API, right? An API is an application programming interface, and it's actually just a contract that you can implement, and then it standardizes the communication between two softwares, right? So at first, we have one of the earliest models of APIs, which you know as SOAP, right? The Simple Object Access Protocol. It was created in 1999, and it's still used nowadays, even though it has a lot of bad points, right? It only supports XML format, for example. It's very difficult to learn. It's very bureaucratic to use. So in the next year, in 2000, we developed the REST API system, right? The REST API standard, which is much better and much more used nowadays, especially for public APIs, because we can also use XML as before, but we also have support to JSON, HTML, plain text, and it's much, much easier to use that. Today, we're going to show you guys exactly this. You can create a REST API in less than 15 minutes, and we will need to create it because the actions are actually behind the scenes, just on REST API. Okay? But not only that, we also have RPCs, which are very well known for us in the blockchain world. We know that transactions route through RPCs in order to get to the validators. So we're also very familiar with it. And we also have other types of standards, GraphQL, WebSockets, and so on. There are some newer models. They're also very nice. But today we're going to focus on the REST API, basically because it's what an action is. Right? But the main thing to remember is that we will have endpoints, and the endpoints are the way for the users to interact with the API, or they're the API access points, right? But as I said before, let's focus first on the REST API. So the REST API uses the HTTP communication protocol, and in this protocol, we have the REST client in one side. The REST client do a request to the server. The server is the player that have all the resources, right? So we have videos, images, text that you want to access, that you want to change, that you want to read. And then the server takes these requests and then send me again a response. It can be in XML, it can be in JSON, which is the most common, as we were saying before. But the thing is, in order to be a REST API, you need to implement those API verbs, right? The post, get, put, patch, and delete, as we are all very familiar with. And we're going to focus much more on the get and the post verbs, right? So the get will be used generally as a read or retrieve resource from the server, and the post will be used, in our case, to generate transactions, as you're going to see soon. So yeah, as I said before, actions are actually just an API, and their endpoints may return metadata or transaction points. Okay, so if you're doing a GET request and you need to do a GET request in the beginning, then the API will return you metadata about which actions are available at that specific URL. And if you do after a POST request, then they will return a transaction that can be signed and then can be executed either on-chain or off-chain. We won't care a lot about the other verbs. We just want to focus on GET and POST requests. And later we'll show you exactly how this works in the Actions API. But before we do that, I just want to say that this is a very powerful tool, a very powerful feature that Solana is integrating to its blockchain, because you can easily get a transaction in any environment that you want. So you're in Twitter, you can get a blink, you can interact with the blockchain without having to leave your normal way of interacting in the Web 2. You can also put this in Telegram, you can use in Discord, so you have a lot of options in order to interact with this Actions API and make it much easier for Joe to use the blockchain, because he is used to using Twitter, he's used to using Facebook, he's used to using all of those platforms, and he don't want to spend time to learn, wow, how I need to go to Jupiter and then do the swap and then go to Orca and provide liquidity and stuff like that. You can abstract all of this complexity and just put the transaction exactly what he wants, right? So this is the most important phrase in today's presentations. I think the value of the actions is that it enables the Web3 integration inside a Web2 environment, right? And this is very important. And you can also do this in a very simple and highly flexible manner. We already created some very interesting blinks. We're going to show you guys today how to create your own blink. And as you're going to see, it will be super easy and super fun to do, actually. Right, so now I will give the word to Luigi so that he can explain a little bit more about actions.
Sweet. So in addition to Ronnie, what are blinks? Blinks is a game changer when we think in mass adoption in Solana. And not on Solana, actually in blockchain. And blinks are basically the blockchain links that, remember when you get a YouTube link and post it somewhere and it renders like the thumbnail, the title, the description. You only by seeing the link, you know already what you're supposed to watch when you click the link. And the blinks are the exactly same thing, but they add the possibility of interact direct to this card that is rendered and do some transaction directly in the blockchain. And today I brought some examples, and we will talk a lot about another types of solutions that we can bring with blinks. But I brought this stake sol, a way of staking sol in the blinks. That's a Phase Labs. I work for Phase Labs, and we made this blink to you. You are like scrolling on Twitter, and you can interact directly with our blink and stake your sol with us. But Jupiter, for example, you can buy Bonk, your current wallet that you are connected, or you can buy Mad Lads with the floor price directly with a blinks. And we say that the best way of learning is putting on practice, and that's the blink that we're gonna build today. We'll make a sol transfer blink that you can post in your Twitter, for example, and people can send money to you. And well, that's just a use case. There's a lot of possibilities here. Yeah.
To convince them to send money.
Yeah. So let us start here. We will be using Next.js to handle all the blinks server side. And to it, we brought this great Solana app that is a great starter kit, because there we will have all the technologies, all the dependencies that you must have to make. In order to make the blinks, we'll need some we'll need Solana actions too, because it's basically all the boilerplate that we'll be using to create the blinks itself. And the transaction, I'm not sure if everyone already builds in Web3, but to show how easy it is, we got an example of a transfer transaction, and then it's using the native balance of Solana. So that's the transaction to send sol from some wallet to another, and that's the part of Web3 that actually will be in touch. The rest, it's all Web2, so it's pretty easy. All your knowledge will be reused when we start building it.
One question. Lamport signature?
Lamport, it's the smallest size of native balance of Solana. So we have like 9 decimals, and it's like 1 decimal of the. So basically, we'll be multiplying the amount of sol that we want by this decimal case.
One Lamport, one sol, which means
1 billion.
1 billion
Yeah.
of 1 billion of Lamport.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the transaction that we'll be using, and I'll pass again it and going of the presentation. But that's the explanation of how this Solana Blinks works behind the scenes. We have like 3 agents: the user who's gonna interact with the blink, the action kind that is any web surface. So it can be Twitter, Telegram, Discord, so anywhere in the web. The action provider is our server, and to this blink demo we'll be using Next, as I said before. And we have like 4 major flows when we think about blinks. We have this get request and get response, and when the user interacts with the blink, it's gonna be a post request and post response, and we are used to see it in Web2. That's the way we connect servers with interfaces with front ends. And when we put the blink in somewhere else in the web, they're gonna make a get request, and then we send metadata to this response, and that's what gonna show in our application. We put the link, get it, and then when the user interacts with like send one sal button, it gonna make a post request where our server gonna serialize and return back a serialized transaction that the user gonna see the pop-up with your connected wallet, and when you confirm, you're gonna send it directly to the blockchain. So that's the part of our server. It's all Web2, and then when we return back to the serialized transaction, the user is able to interact directly then with the Solana blockchain.
Sorry, can you give more details on the server?
I'll show you actually the code and how it's supposed to do.
So the action provider is your server.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's your server. You can do in any language you prefer, but we're gonna use TypeScript here.
The action client is the Solana client in your code, correct?
The action client, it's the render blink that's gonna be rendered in Twitter, for example.
Oh, okay.
Guys, you can interrupt me anytime. It's great to interact with you. And that's the metadata that is set. So it's a pattern. You have those fields that you can fill, and then when you send to the metadata to the client, it's gonna be rendered following these steps. Here we have like title, description, label. Label is gonna be the transaction label. We have the icon, so the image they're gonna show, and here is the interface that we have. But I'll go further and I'll show you how it looks in the metadata and how it's rendered. And here, so we have like the transfer, so that is the label of the transaction. We have the actions, and we have two kind of action links. That we have this one that is a button, but we have the parameter field also, so you can use your creativity to build whatever you want. And that's actually, I'm not sure if I said, but it's a change in the paradigm of like bringing people to your dApp. The blinks led to you guys.
Go to people.
Yeah, exactly. Get your solution and bring to people. So guy is like scrolling Twitter and see your solution. By one click, it's already interacting with it.
Just send them a link.
Yeah.
Serial offers.
Exactly. So that's the part of the get request, and that's the way we gonna make the get response. So the way that we gonna.
Sorry, you send the link, but the user interface, you must host it somewhere. Okay.
Actually, no. We only send back to the client the metadata, and the client gonna parse it and render the blinks. So that's why we have this like strict structure that we must follow, because basically is the rules that you must follow to render properly. And that's our get request. Gonna be parsed. We're gonna make the payload that I've showed before, and then we'll return back to the client this response with the payload, so the metadata that I showed you guys. And that's another important thing, is to use these action core headers that we have in the Solana Actions SDK, that as we want to blinks be rendered in any web surface, we have to allow every course rules, because to the ones that knows how to program in Web2, we always have to set the course to not allow people of different domains get things off your server. Yeah. But as we want to blinks be rendered in any web surface, we have to allow that this endpoint gonna be rendered in anywhere else in our server won't complain about it. So that's the yeah, exactly. So following this, we are using to our application to transfer Sol, but this is basically the skeleton to any get response of Blinks. So if you guys have an idea, just change the payload and it's gonna work to your application. So it's pretty simple, the onboarding of developers regarding the Blinks development. And now we go to the interaction with the blockchain. How the action provider, the server, gonna parse it and make it happen. So I'm gonna do a step back, and the actions are all linked to an endpoint of your server. So when you get the post, you're gonna parse it to make the exactly interaction that you want. And here, when the user makes the request, in the body of the request has his account, so we know with that we know who's the wallet that is interacting with my Blink. I parsed it to a public key because I'll be using it in our transaction. I make the connection with the RPC. That's, well, the way of connecting to the blockchain. And here, I'm just calling the new transaction. And again, I did a skeleton that you guys can use it as an example and change to your application. Here we have the transaction that I showed in the beginning of the presentation. That is the transfer solve. So we have like 13 lines of code, and that's all the Web3 stuff that we will be handling today. So after setting the transaction, making the instructions of what we want, we're gonna payload again with the create post response. That is another SDK function that we have in Solana Actions, and send the fields, that is the transaction, and the message that we want to send in case that it goes successfully. So here I said successfully send the amount of SOL that the user wants to send, and the wallet the Blink is pointing to. So with that, we basically have all our Blinks done. And when the user interacts with like send one SOL, it gonna pops his Phantom wallet or any wallet that he has logged in. And when he confirms, that goes strictly to the Solana blockchain. So it's like pretty simple. It's easy to follow these steps. And guys, that's basically done the part of showing how the Solana Blinks works. And then now I want to show you the code, like, and how that works when we interact. So we have this dialect.to site. That's the place where we can test our Blinks, because that's pretty important in the development to see if everything is going right. So here it's our, let me make it a bit bigger. Everyone can see? One more? Okay. What we built together, I made some utilitarian functions to handle some kind of key params, because it's basically all we interact. The Blinks, we have to put some params in the link to know which the wallet we are interacting, or well, to your solution we might need to add this kind of things. So I made this utilitarian functions, the utilitarian function to connect to the RPC, and we're gonna show the GitHub. So if you guys want to get a further deep dive view, you guys will be able to do this. So here's our get request, the payload that I said. These href are the endpoints that we're gonna post it, and you guys can see the parameters that I'm sending here. So the amount of Solana, and that's a This one is a bit different, or the open parameter field, so we can handle like different values. Here's again the core headers, and to show you guys what it is actually, it's basically allowing the control our origin to any endpoint, and allowing all the methods. And then we have the post itself, where we get the body, we parse it to a public key, made the instruction to transfer sol, and it's all done. Basically, this is the code, and that's what it looks when we don't parse it. That's an example of getting a sol transfer in my Blinks endpoint, and it will bring all the transaction. And to show you the interactive with the Blink, with the link itself, I'm gonna make sorry. So I'm in DevNet, so I'm not in the mainnet of Solana right now. I can like get an address, and that's the address that we're gonna send when people interact with my Blink. So when I do it, it's already like handling the address that I want, and you guys can see that all the href are pointing to it. So that's the logic that I did in my get response to get the account that I set in the link, and put it to, when I make a post request, my endpoint will know which is the wallet that I want to send the Blink. So getting the whole link and putting here in the dialect, I'll be able to see how's it going in the development of my Blink. And that's great, because we can see if something is something is wrong in our code, and see how's it going. I'll switch to another account, so you guys can see that now I have like almost 11 sol in this wallet, but I'll send from this another one who has basically 2.5 sol, and I clicked in the send 5 sol, and you can see that it's already saying that I'm gonna take off 5 sols. You can see now the label of the transaction that we have in the metadata. So I wrote transfer sol, and that's how's it looking here. And when I press confirm, you guys saw I've interacted with Solana blockchain with one link, and that's the great stuff. That's the switch paradigm, because it's so easy, and that's why we believe that it's a great way of onboarding people, because you just pops a way of interacting with the blockchain in Discord, and that's crazy, the possibilities with that. So if I go again to my another wallet that I sent the money, you guys will see that it got like the sol that I sent. And we are not done yet. We'll have more presentation to you guys to show a bit more the possibilities that we have with Blinks, and how it's shaping the future of Web3. Go ahead.
Quick question. Do you? I mean, you're obliged to have the wallet on the Explorer, or
Yeah.
in a second version, put scan a QR code to connect your wallet.
The QR code is already being developed. That's like a pretty new technology. It's basically last month they released it, and doing that to interact directly from for a QR code, for example. The mobile SDK, it's under development. It's about to be released, so we'll be able to interact with Blinks in like depths in our own mobile version. So that's another incredible opportunity here. And you guys, if you have some solution, you can start like thinking, how can I make a Blink of some solution that we have? I showcased the Jupiter, for example, that is a decentralized exchange that lets you buy some meme coin directly with one click, but it could be any token that you guys have. So Sanjay gonna talk a bit more about this, and the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
One question.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see like a kind of structure for Solana? Is there any kind of structure or something that is not a wallet involved in the process?
Yeah, actually, Blinks are already connected with Tiplink. That is a company in Solana that makes account abstraction on wallets. Then you can connect your Google account and interact with Blinks like that. Like it's really easy to remove all the Web3 stuff, like abstract all of them, and do all of Web2. They are developing as well this stuff. So yeah, after you build your first Blink with Luigi, you still need to go through a few more steps to switch from mainnet to DevNet to mainnet, because for safety and security reasons, the Dialect SDK only parse the Blinks that are on his whitelist. So you need to go to the official website of Dialect, see the requirements. If your Blink fit all the requirements, you can submit your Blinks to a code review. They're going to check your GitHub. After you pass all of it, you receive the white label, and you can really go and post and interact with all the mainstream people. But after that, you still need to do one more step, because as we said before, Blinks are new. They were released like 2 months ago, so they are kind of experimental features right now. So you need to enable them on your wallet to be more safe. And if you don't want to interact with them, that's fine. We're just development. Everything is like going daily basis. We got new information about Blinks. So you can go to your Phantom, to your Backpack, to your Soulflare, or any wallet extension you want. You go to the settings, search for like experimental features or allow Blinks. It's a little bit different on each one of them. And you toggle the switch. And after you do those both steps, the validation from Dialect and allowing on your wallet extension, you should be good to go to copy your Blink, paste on Twitter, and you're gonna see right on X, for example, your Blinks having the faces to the whole world. And that's been a lot of development on it. Like for example, we had a couple of customizations on Blinks, like buying the Flora Famous NFT collection, for example, or maybe offsetting your carbon footprint. That's a path that a lot of companies are going to. Or even playing Pokemon. Like imagine playing a whole game that you loved in your childhood. You can play without leaving Twitter just because of Blinks. It's like you can go on DeFi, you can go to gaming, you can go to AI. Blinks allow a lot of possibilities. The customization is almost limitless. And that's what devs all dream of. Because 2 months ago when they released till today, the developers are like crazy building Blinks and Blinks. And one example of that is that since launch, we have already 250 Blinks launched and whitelisted with a lot of different transactions on it that I'm going to talk a little bit more popular cases used for that and show the possibilities that Blinks bring to Web3 and Web2. The first one is one of my personal favorites, to be honest, is the crowdfunding, because imagine you have like a project with a growing community, a growing socials, but you still haven't found a VC or angel investor. You can use Blinks in your community to really get the funds. Just paste, copy a link, share in your Twitter, your Discord, your Telegram, and then other community members can help, share, and also fund a little bit your company to give this idea more longevity. Also, we have a good use case for airdrops. We have a company that is Send company. Since the launch of Blinks, they have doing like a little bit of experimental features on Blinks. This is a famous case that they dropped like last week. They did an airdrop because, as Luigi said before, inside of Blinks you can put any kind of transactions, and into those types we also have temporary transactions. What they did is to do an airdrop of 20,000 tokens of their own and doing some requirements for eligibility. You can just go to the Twitter, see the Blinks, check. In the same transaction, you'll check if you have the eligibility, and you can claim your airdrop without any third parties involved. Because what happens with a lot of airdrops is that people fit the requirements, but don't know the website to claim or forget about them and lose a bunch of money. And Blinks also solves the case, doing everything on socials on the daily basis of every user. Also, another way to do crowdfunding in a lot of companies who have communities is to do mint collections, and Blinks help with that as well. You can just build your collection, post on X. If you have whitelisted, they can check the whitelisted and mint. If you don't have, any person can go there, click and mint and support your project as well. Another one is getting the strength of Web3. There is the community. A lot of governance tools are being adapted to use Blinks. One of them is to get the community sentiment, for example. I brought here a little joke that we have at Solana because Murt is the Helios CEO, and he's from Canada, but he's talking a lot about moving abroad because of legal requirements correlated to crypto. And so they did a poll for the community to talk about if he's gonna move or not from Canada, for example. Another one is to connect Web2 to Web3 with raffles and also betting. This was a famous example that occurred in the Euro Cup. They did a raffle with a betting system because you could pick the team you thought was going to win the Euro Cup. If you find the right answer, you enter a raffle, then you can win extra $10,000 on it. So this is a practical example of how Blinks can be introduced to Web3 players without even knowing they're doing Web3 transactions, just doing betting or raffles or anything related. But also, we need to bring the DeFi to the Blinks as well. And that's where I introduce you the stake pools as well. Imagine you have USDC on your wallet account. You don't do anything with that. You can go to a Twitter and you see, oh, there's a Blinks where I can do just a stake pool, just a click, and starting receiving yield of it. It's pretty simple, straight to it. That's how Blinks works. It's supposed to be easy, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to not have any strings attached to the final user. And of course, many more to come. As I said before, every single day we have new Blinks, we have new SDKs, we have new technology being built to Blinks. So because, as I said before, customization of your Blinks is almost limitless. The only limit right now to build new technology on Blinks is because we finally did the connection of bridging Web2 to Web3 people in an easy way. Once we get to Discord, to Telegram, to WhatsApp, we're really gonna break the barrier between entering into a Web3 app and inside a Web2 app. That's the most important thing that I think all of us want to tell you guys. This is probably the path that's gonna onboard millions and millions of players.
Sorry, so basically you're saying that I can renderize this wherever I can use React, maybe in my app.
Yeah, exactly. On your React
direct actions,
yeah,
interacting with the user's wallet.
Exactly, the SDK that I like the launch, you can put on your React app on anything, and it will work as well. The same way as Twitter works. Yeah. It's gonna parse the URL the same way.
The same way for example, we have when you get a YouTube link in WhatsApp and it already shows the metadata, the thumbnail. Yeah, so it's
the same
structure of sending the metadata to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And render it.
They already did some experimental features on Discord to use bots for governance tooling. For example, you do a proposal in your community, the bot recognizes, launches on Discord, and then the people can vote and interact with the blockchain on the Discord without even needing to open the app. That's the magic that Blinks bring to us.
Is there some restriction for the user? If they didn't already have the wallet, could there be a download and create account flow? Will there be enough in the SDK for that, or would it be no, you have to have the wallet?
Oh yeah, that's the point that I said before. Since Blinks just launched 2 months ago, we're trying to find the potential vulnerabilities around that and trying to build new technology to onboard more people and lose this barrier even more each day.
It's not really yet onboarding because people already have the wallet or a wallet.
Yeah.
So it's expanding the use of it.
Yeah.
The next step